So if you have these 5 signs, then portfolio management is not for you. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah, and I am a CFA charter holder. I have an MBA in quant finance, and I used to work in equity research at Lehman Brothers. I make weekly videos on the subject of portfolio management and equity research careers. So if you haven't yet, then subscribe to the channel to get the real story, the real deal. You know you get it here, and I'll tell you straight, don't wait, subscribe in. So today what I'm going to be talking about is the signs that you shouldn't really be pursuing a career in portfolio management or equity research. And why am I making this video? Because nobody talks about it, because there's always some spiel out there, and I'm not going to say the institution that propagates this, but I think we all know who it is. But there's always this idea that if you're going to get the CFA or if you're going to be a quant, then you have to go work in research. And the truth of the matter is that there are so many careers other than just being a straight up research analyst or a straight up portfolio manager. There's consulting, there's operations, there's sales or marketing for some of these operations. There's tons of stuff that you can do at a portfolio management firm. And you don't necessarily have to go down the path that so many people are saying. I'm sick of people saying it. So if you're showing 2 or more of the following 5 signs, then I think you should rethink your path and consider some alternatives. Now, before I get into it, I'm sure that there are people watching me today that I haven't yet conversed with. So go ahead, drop me a line in the comments below. I would love to meet you. Tell me, what's your #1 question about getting into portfolio management? Are you having an easy time of it? Is it a hard time? Let me know. So the first sign that you're probably not right for a career in portfolio management is the people are mean. It's a mean, harsh, competitive environment. There's no hand-holding. And I know that this is not going to be right for a lot of you because, I mean, even like me making these videos, I just see so many people that need to be handheld. Like, people will be like, I'll make a whole video about like how to pass the CFA exam. And then I'll get comments on my video and people will be like, I'm trying to pass the CFA exam. I can't, help me. Tell me what I need to do. It's like, hey, yo, like, didn't you watch the video? It's like, I know some of you are really kind of have like autonomy, and then others of you are just going to get eaten alive in this environment because it's tough AF, y'all. Like, really don't, it's not nice. Like, don't look forward to having great camaraderie and like having a great feeling when you go to work every day. Here, there's no, it's like every person for themselves in this industry, okay? And even the managers are like mean, like they just don't even care about you as a person. So here's the second one. The second one would be that you don't like modeling. If you don't like modeling and you don't like quant research and you don't like sitting there ad nauseum and trying to get models correct, and if you don't have the attention span to do it for this subject, then don't do this. So for example, if you can't sit there and hash out a model and then have your boss come in at like 4 o'clock on Friday night and be like, you need to change this estimate from a free cash flow to the firm to a free cash flow to equity estimate. And you're going to be there until 1 in the morning. And it's like your boyfriend or girlfriend's birthday, and you plan this whole surprise party for like 6 months, and everybody's like on the phone, like, where are you? Where are you? Like, and you have to cancel. Like, if you don't like that, then don't do this career, because it's a heck of work, a heck of a lot of work, heck of a lot of hours. And it's boring, monotonous stuff that's very detail oriented. I know some of you just aren't that detail oriented, because people like message me all the time and they're like, I want to learn how to model. And I'm like, okay, good. Like, what stocks do you follow? None. Okay, well, take some initiative and do it yourself. Okay, so then they email me like 2 days later and they're like, oh, like, here's this model I came up with. And I'm like, it's like the most thing. And I'm like, did you not watch my videos? Like, did you not use my sample models that I gave you? Like, how they just don't have the patience or the drive to do it. It takes a heck of a lot of drive. Like, the biggest analogy I can make is if you're not willing to eat out of the trash can to become a portfolio manager, then don't pursue this career. So I just wanted to take a minute and ask you, are you enjoying this video? Are you finding this video useful? Because if so, then I would love to have you give a thumbs up, y'all, thumbs up, y'all, thumbs up the video, y'all. Thank you. The third sign that portfolio management is not for you is you can't take orders from another person. So you are not going to get to be the one making the decisions about the money for a long time, for at least like 10 years in most cases. So if you're not the right person, if you're not a person who can sit there and just like take orders and not get a little bit plussed, so to speak, if somebody tells you you did something wrong, or if you are going to get upset about somebody not listening to your ideas, then this career in portfolio management is not for you. Now, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm very autonomous. Like, I like to do my own thing, and that's great for me being a business owner or like a salesperson. Also, salespeople have to be very autonomous. They have no support infrastructure behind them oftentimes, and they have to go out and create the world for themselves. If that's your personality and you just need to be able to have your own thoughts and to act upon them, and you don't feel right kind of being somebody else's parrot for the duration of like what most of like probably a decade, then this career is not for you. These are big ticket jobs. They earn a lot of money. They're really competitive. And there's not even that much creativity from one company to the next. What one company offers a lot of times, unless we're talking about hedge funds, and those are ultra competitive to get into, the average like long only buy side portfolio management firm, like they're going to basically be copying each other and not really having too much originality from one call on one stock to the next. Like, like you see it on the sell side all the time. It's like they read each other's reports and they look at what the other analysts are calculating for earnings, and then they like adjust their estimates to be in the same ballpark. Like one analyst will be like, I think that this quarter's earnings is going to be like $2.62. And then the next analyst will be like $2.60. And then the next one will be like $2.63, $2.64, $2.59. Like, you see what I'm saying? They all have to be within like 3 cents of each other. And it's like, even when you get to the high levels, a lot of times in portfolio management, it's not like anybody's really striking out with anything that new and pursuing their own thoughts. It's a very formulaic kind of a role that may or may not be for you. And like I said, these portfolio management firms, the people who work there are not nice, and they're going to boss you around, and they're going to boss you around bad. So if you're not into getting badly bossed for a long amount of time, if you can't handle that, if you can't handle being bossed, this is not for you. Sorry. So another sign that you're not going to be you're not right for portfolio management, and probably not going to get too far in portfolio management, is if you are averse to building your own network of people who can provide information outside of the normal sources. So there's like company reports, company management, they come up with their earnings every quarter, and then there's, what the industry says, but there's a whole wealth of resources where people can get information about companies just based on the real world. There's, interviewing industry consultants that work in the space. There's industry organizations. There's interacting, like going to conferences. There's interacting with the entities. There's, experiencing the product firsthand. There's all kinds of ways that you can learn about industries outside of that, and all kinds of networking that you should be doing. You should be doing this from the beginning. And I say this to people and they don't get it. Like, there's some people are so freaking obsessed with the CFA exam and with the models that they just want to like model all the time and think that the numbers and what's on the paper is really what's going to come up with the best calls. Whereas the point of it is that there's so much perspective that can be gained, because the people who work in the industry or are closer can often give you a different perspective from what the management says. And a lot of times, like, these typical sources are so contrived and so impacted by what popular opinion is. And a lot of that is propagated by the billion-dollar marketing of the companies that are being followed. They have billion-dollar marketing budgets for a reason. They have investor relations departments for a reason, and they're great at their jobs, and that is keeping the company's reputation, upholding it to be a certain thing. But you find out the real story from your network. So you're not going to be a great portfolio manager if you don't have the ability to want to develop that network. I have videos here on how to use LinkedIn for networking, and you should definitely be checking those out. But signs that portfolio management, like when you really are going to get to the higher and higher levels, this is what's going to be required of you as a portfolio manager. If you're not willing to do that, portfolio management is probably not right for you. And the last thing is, if you don't see a purpose to the career of portfolio management that goes beyond just you making a lot of money. So, you know, I've seen before people who are very kind of like obsessed with the dream and the story, and like, you know, hedge fund managers fly around in helicopters. And unfortunately, that seems to be what the major motivation is for most of the people to work in this industry. And I think it's kind of sad, but I have seen also that there's a great deal, like once you look at the real top leaders, a lot of them, like the top, I'm not going to say any names, but because it's like the moment I say this, I know there's like probably one of them are going to like blow up and be involved in some scandal. So I'm not even going to say the names. I have seen some portfolio managers that have reached tremendous heights of success and are using their position to talk about greater integrity in the capital markets, who are honestly in it because they want to promote a healthy economy, because they want to give investors a better life. And I think that is absolutely the best way to go. But I would say it's definitely a small fraction of people who are actually going to see it that way. But if you do, then I think that's really going to guide you through all of the really difficult things. And like I said, getting one of these jobs and succeeding in this industry is kind of like, you got to be willing to eat from the trash can. That's how badly you have to want this. And like just your own selfish interests are not going to be enough to really guide you if you're going to get to the tippity top, where I've seen a lot of people really be doing great things and being very positive leaders, because that's really what leadership is the ability to see outside of yourself. So if you're not willing to do that, then, you know, you may be okay with this for a while, but when it really gets into it, and when the going really gets tough, and when you're in a situation where you're facing a possible ethical dilemma, you're not going to make the right decision. And I've also seen that happen all too often. So those are the 5 things that would be signals that you are not right for portfolio management. If you found this video about the 5 signs that you're not right for portfolio management to be useful, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel so that we will see you next time.